Probably my number one Slate call is a call made by Lamar Williams. He's very well known in the turkey industry, and one of the really key things about a Slate call is what we call when it rolls over. You make sure that your Slate and your striker that come in the package, you keep them together. Try not to mix match those calls. A lot of times that striker is hand tuned to that call. That's what makes Lamar Williams so special. He's very well known for his box call, but he has made a few Slate calls. And the preparation to use it, you'll get a green, it's just like a Brillo pad. Just simply scruff up the top of the surface, and what that does is that allows that dust to set on top. It allows the friction for when your striker goes across the top of the call, and that dust allows the friction there and helps the call. The second one that I like to use, and the reason I carry two different Slate calls is simply because of the tone. The Lamar Williams call is something I use very soft. When the turkey's within 150 yards or 130 yards, you can get very soft with it. One of the only companies out there that make a green Slate is a gentleman by the name of Bill Zinger, which is Cody Calls. Cody Calls makes a green Slate. You can get a lot louder with this call, so on a windy day, when the bird may be a little bit further, you can go to a green Slate. It's the same way. You take a Brillo pad, you just rough up the surface a little bit, allow that dust to stay on the call. A lot of people will try to brush that dust off. Leave the dust on the call. It helps the friction between your striker and the face of your Slate, and allows the sound to be exactly what it needs to be. When you're going to learn how to, if you're a beginner and you want to learn how to use a Slate call, each call has what I call a sweet spot, and the sweet spot is something that you have to find. When I get a call and I found that sweet spot, I kind of mark it so that my finger will go to the same place all the time. And the striker, just act like as if you were going to write with a pencil and just lean it forward to a 30 or 45 degree angle. And a lot of your striker in a Slate call is all determined in the amount of pressure that you put on your striker. If you want a hard yelp, then put a little more pressure. If you want a purr, you back off of it. So if you're going to purr, just take the pressure off of your striker and don't allow the striker to push too hard onto the face of the Slate. If you're going to go into a yelp series, which a lot of guys, what they do, and especially some of the old timers that I learned from, is they will slide their hand way up on the striker so that you don't have the near amount of pressure when you do a purr. And if you listen, you can actually hear the different tones by how much pressure you're putting on the call. So when you do a yelp, slide your hand back down, keep it at about a 30 to 45 degree angle, just like you're going to write with a pencil, and just take your striker and run it in dime size circles, and that'll help you get the sound, and then you can perfect it from there. What we call a rollover, what I call a rollover, if a call doesn't have a rollover, I don't tend to like it as well. And when I talk about a rollover, you can hear the different tones and the different pitches in the call. You can hear it go from one tone to another. That's what I call a rollover. If that call doesn't have that rollover, it's kind of it's dead and it doesn't carry quite as far.